What's up guys, the Stages SB20 is a smart bike that works with smart cycling apps such as Zwift, TrainerRoad, Wahoo RGT, Wahoo SYSTM, and many others. This bike has been around for a number of years, so is it still relevant as we head into the end of 2022 into 2023? In this video, I will tell you what I like about this bike and some of the things that I do not like, and hopefully this video will help you decide if you are looking into investing into adding this beast of a machine into your pain cave. And if you find this video helpful, I would appreciate it if you quickly hit that like button. It helps the video and the channel a lot, and I really appreciate it. Okay, the Stages SB20 smart bike retails for $3,149.99 US, but it has been selling for around $1,900 here in the US, so it comes in at a much lower price point when comparing it to other bikes in its class. But do not let that lower price fool you. This Stages bike is a heavy 138-pound beast. This thing is heavy. You'll have to do some assembly when you get it and take it out of the box, but I found the assembly process simple and it took me about 40 some minutes to put it together. Moving the bike around is not that difficult either. The front leg has two wheels to help you slide the bike around, and all you need to do is lift the back of the bike up. All that heavy weight of the bike is in the front, coming from this massive 50 pounds flywheel. The bike supports up to 2200 watts of resistance within 1.5% power precision. It can simulate up to 25% virtual gradient, and maximum rider weight is 300 pounds. The bike is fully adjustable and accommodates riders from 4 foot 10 inches to 6 foot 10 inches in height. The seat fore aft is easily adjustable by twisting this knob. You can adjust the tilt of the saddle or change it altogether if you want, but I personally found this saddle to be one of the best saddles of any stationary bikes that I have been on, so hopefully you'll be pleased with it as well. The saddle can be adjusted by simply releasing the seat post knob and adjusting the saddle height to the height that you desire. The same thing goes with the front cockpit height and fore aft, quick and easy to adjust. The bike has a Q factor of 157 millimeter, so a tiny bit wider than your typical road bike and other smart bikes on the market, but I personally did not find it to make or feel any different. The crank length features 4 different lengths: 165 millimeter, 170 millimeter, 172.5 millimeter, and 175 millimeter. Let's move back to the front cockpit and let's talk about what's over there. Okay, let's start off with the media display holder. This media display comes included with the bike but can be removed if you do not like it, but I absolutely love it and I think it's brilliant. It's great for holding an iPad mini all the way to an iPad Pro. You can also use this pad for your phone. You will also find 2 USB chargers which you can use to charge your iPad and iPhone at the same time if you want. I would like to see some wireless charging on these bikes at some point before I retire. This pad is screaming to have a wireless charger in it. Particularly Stages does expect you to use your phone while using the bike, which I will talk about in a bit here. Right below the handlebar, you will find 2 water bottles holders that are easily accessible. All right, let's talk about the brakes and shifters. The 2 brakes lever that you see here are meant to put some resistance on the flywheel to stop it, or can be used in a ride to quickly add some resistance, which is really brilliant if you want to get out of the saddle for a quick sprint. The gear adjustments, however, are all done using these buttons. You have 2 on the top horn, on the handlebar, and another set by the drops. You can set up and configure how these buttons work within the Stages Cycling app under Bike Manager. You can even add additional shifters if you want to add aero bars, for example, and have shifters on them. Stages actually sells additional shifters on their website for $165. The Stages Cycling apps has been redesigned. It is much better and easier to use now. Using the app, you can configure the bike settings, change shifters configurations, create different user settings to support different ride configurations, calibrate the power meter, and update firmware. The button shifter configuration on your Stages bike can be set to Shimano, Campagnolo, or custom defined. There is also what's called Dream Drive setting that is essentially a virtual cassette that can have up to 50 gear increments, and the front gear function can be set to allow for larger shifts in increments of 1 to 10. So essentially, you can build your own gear. Now, you'll find that the Stages bike does not have any gear display on the bike itself, and they sort of expect you to use the phone to display that information. There is also no feedback from the bike itself when changing gears other than feeling that resistance increase or decrease. However, you can use the Stages cycling app to see the gear information. You can even set the phone to vibrate or make a sound when shifting gears, which I found to be irrelevant because when I have the phone on the phone holder, I do not feel the vibration, and I also have my headset on, so I'm not gonna hear any audio. So that's all fine, but I personally prefer not to use my phone for that kind of stuff and would prefer if Stages put some kind of a display on the bike itself or give me some feedback in the pedals as you change gears. But the nice thing about the app is you can actually use the app to fully control the bike if you prefer not to have a subscription to another cycling app. And from a ride feel perspective, this bike is amazing. It is super quiet. Really, it is very, very quiet. There is barely any noise from the bike. The only indication of someone riding the bike you will have is that heavy breathing. The bike is super stable, maybe too stable. There is no side-to-side rocking and any movement, so you might find longer rides to be a bit uncomfortable. This is typical of all stationary bikes out there, but this saddle is so good. I've put on 2+ hours of riding, and honestly, it was fine, and this bike felt more comfortable for me than other stationary bikes I have been on. And if you are a strong sprinter, how many pages can you print a minute? So if you are a strong sprinter, I think you will love this bike because you can go all out and this bike will remain in place. Maybe some of you sprinters will make this thing move, but I could not, and I think you will find it to be very stable. As far as cycling apps compatibility, this bike is ANT+ and Bluetooth compatible. It is compatible with Zwift, TrainerRoad, Wahoo RGT, Exert, and practically any app that supports Bluetooth or ANT+. The bike will broadcast dual power and cadence as well. It has 2 Bluetooth channels, so you can connect it to 2 different apps at the same time. I believe Stages meant for the second Bluetooth channel to be used to connect to the Stages cycling app alongside Zwift, for example, to be able to see your gears while riding, but you can use it to connect to a different app if you would like Zwift and TrainerRoad. Okay, let's move on to power accuracy. The Stages bikes comes with dual-sided 3rd gen Stages power meter that measures power up to 2200 watts within 1.5% precision per Stages claims. This power meter is powered by 2032 cell battery, so you'll have to eventually change the battery. I have been using this bike for about 3 months or so, 3 times per week, and the battery is still going strong. The Stages bikes need to be calibrated, and it can be calibrated within the Stages cycling app. Within the app, the first thing you need to make sure is to set that correct crank length. And this is something you will need to do before your first ride for accurate power measurement. If you do not know what the crank length is, it is basically the hole that you use on the crank arm to screw in your pedal. There is a number on there. In my case, I use the 172.5 because this is the same crank length I usually use on my road bike. So next, make sure to position the crank arm vertically, get off the bike, and run the calibration. Once you calibrate, generally you do not need to calibrate again. I would run the calibration again if you change pedals, decide to experiment with different crank length, or move the bike around. The bike power meters will auto-calibrate and update the zero offset value after a period of inactivity. So basically after every ride, it will recalibrate. So how good the power measurement? I tested against my Wahoo PowerLink pedals and Garmin Rally RK200 dual-sided power meters. Overall, power measurement was really good. It was within Stages claims and even exceeded these claims. Sprints were very close. There seemed to be some smoothing done with the power link here, or Stages is a lot more sensitive, but that seems to be the general theme with Stages. You'll find their power to jump around a lot more than other power meters. Not a bad thing, it's just how Stages report the data. Moving on to ERG Mode. A few things I like to test in ERG Mode. How quick does the resistance transition from one interval target power to the next, and how good is it at keeping me at my target for longer intervals? The Stages bike nailed all of them. It responded within 3 to 4 seconds to changes in intervals. Anything faster than that is usually not pleasant when in ERG mode, and in longer intervals it was just solid and always within a watt or two from my target. In this section here, I usually drop my cadence to between 50 to 60 RPM just to see if there's any issues with ERG mode holding watts with lower cadence. Initially, it was trying to react to my cadence slowing down, and that's why you see the power going over target, but then it settled down at my target and kicked me there as I transitioned to the next interval. So in summary, power measurement was really good and within specs. ERG mode was smooth, responded quickly, and hit my targets for each interval. So there's really nothing to complain about with power measurement and ERG mode. So when thinking of a stationary bike, you are thinking of a bike that resembles your road bike. So you want adjustability to replicate your fit. You want it to ride the same or as close to making it feel the same as riding your road bike as possible. You also possibly want it to fit a wide range of riders by having quick adjustability to make it accommodate different riders in your household. Also, you want to be able to take advantage of different conveniences and tech available for indoor riding, such as the ability to use different smart cycling apps, customizing different configurations, and having a place to hold your tablet or phone and charging it while it's there. I think the Stages bike nailed it in many of these areas by having a wide range of fit to fit a variety of riders, quick adjustability, and a great ride feel, and very quiet at the same time. In addition to all of that, Stages added many of the conveniences and tech indoor riding offers to the SB20, such as 2 Bluetooth FTMS channels and ANT+ FEC connectivity, and the simplicity to customize gearing to match your preferred configuration. Of course, nothing is going to be perfect. I would have liked to see an integrated gear display screen somewhere and feel feedback when changing gears. Also, I'm not a fan of having to change that power meter batteries, even though I haven't had a chance or I haven't had to change mine yet, but I know that day is going to come at some point. I think Stages should have gone with more integrated power meter. But overall, this is a really solid bike, and I have no doubt that you will be very happy with your investment. Alright, I hope you found this video review helpful, and let me know if you have any questions about this bike. I also want to hear from you if you have owned this bike for a while and have been using it. Let me know what you think of it. I'll leave links to where you can purchase the Stages bike down in the description if you decide to get one for yourself or possibly a gift to someone. Okay, hope you find this video helpful. Remember to hit that like button, and if you are still watching and have not subscribed yet, then you know what to do. Thank you for watching, and see you guys in the next video.